waste, fraud, abuse, bureaucratic bloat. We're going for the stuff that's basic common sense that most Americans actually agree on. And I hope we're going to actually be able to help unite the country by eliminating waste, which is something that all Americans, regardless of partisan affiliation, can get behind. And that's how Elon and I are thinking about it.
Well, that was Vivek Ramaswamy touting the new Department of Government Efficiency that he and Elon Musk will be running. Now, also known as DOGE, this temporary agency will partner with the White House and Office of Management and Budget to drive structural government change from outside the government. Now, they put out their first messaging on X yesterday, writing this: working overtime to ensure your tax dollars will be spent wisely. So what have we been spending some of our federal funds on? Let's review. Almost $550,000 went to a Russian lab to run experiments on cats' brains. That was spent by the National Institutes of Health. $3.7 million of funding went to a study on monkeys and gambling, another NIH fascinating project. And the State Department awarding tens of thousands of dollars for drag shows in Ecuador. And that's just the tip of the wasteful spending iceberg. Here's Senator James Langford rattling off just a few government spending projects at a House hearing last year. Watch.
Last year, the State Department did a grant to Ecuador to host 12 drag shows in Ecuador with American tax dollars. Now, may have different opinions in this room on drag shows. I'm just asking the simple question: is the best use of American tax dollars to actually fund drag shows in Ecuador with U.S. tax dollars? National Science Foundation last year did a study of butterflies in Europe. So we funded with American taxpayer dollars. Last year there was also a NEA grant that was done to set up a display in Brooklyn for the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which, by the way, is not even an American band. We had an almost, $350,000 grant to study smart toilets. Was one of the grants that we actually paid for with our federal tax dollars last year. We also had a grant that was done studying colonial Mexican soundscapes. We, last year, did a study on helmets and seatbelts in Ghana to be able to study whether seatbelts and helmets were effective for saving lives in Ghana. Can I just go ahead and answer that question for free? Seatbelts and helmets are a good idea.
Yeah.
They save lives. Free.
Right.
Oh, Kaylee, the American people had no idea about this, and how would they? When the administration we are disentangling ourselves from is committed to an opacity, and at the same time, Americans can't afford grocery bills, but hey, let's spend millions on a bunch of ridiculous projects outside this country.
It is complete and total malpractice, and
100%.
the biggest government positions to me that have been appointed are Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk in this new department. And it's not just the money. The money is a big part of it. It is gutting the career civil service from this administration. Let me give you an example. Trump becomes president in 2016. Trump goes in. Do you want to know what happens 1 month later? 1 month after he is president of the United States, commander-in-chief, a vote of the American people, details of his calls with the foreign leaders of Mexico and Australia were leaked. Mexico went to the Associated Press. Australia details went to the Washington Post. These were career civil servants leaking the details Trump was having with foreign leaders. They need to go. The American people spoke. He is president of the United States. Get rid of the bureaucracy. It's not about undermining Trump. That's undermining you, undermining your vote. Get rid of them on day one. Vivek, I know, is up to the task. I've had conversations with him about this. It's time to put these two in charge. Give them a ton of power. Get rid of career civil servants.
Yes, ma'am. I can't wait. And remember, I was a federal attorney. I was an acting director in a top 10 agency of an appellate office. And I really can't express adequately what it is like to push against the beast of spending. And among those spendings, I want to talk to you about something, Paul, which is the overpayments. This is where the waste comes into play. $3 trillion, Open the Books reported, since 2004. They define it as essentially wrong payments to the wrong person or for the wrong reason. Do you think Americans will give that back? Because I saw firsthand the billions of overpayments by the Social Security Administration where, oh, I'm sorry, guys, we just wasted $3 billion for no reason other than ineptitude, incompetence, or sheer laziness. And my point is that it is the structure that bakes it in. So Elon and Vivek are coming in and they're going to blow up that structure just like this. Well, we gave them money before, so we're going to do it again. No, we do not inherit the incompetence anymore.
I'll give you a good example, salient example. So apparently it's bouncing around online that when Pete Hegseth got SecDef, there was a quote from a government contract, military contractor, saying essentially, who the blank is Pete Hegseth? That is exactly the reaction you want, right? Because who's this outsider that's going to come in, that's going to kick this whole thing over, essentially, right? It's not somebody that he's taken to lunch, he's been whining and dining for the last 20 years, that he knows the contract's a done deal. That's exactly what you're talking about, Kaylee, and that is what you need. The other thing is, two things real quick. First of all, why are we funding all these bad ideas in other countries? We have enough bad ideas of our own, for the love of God. Why are we, helmets and God, come on. That's one thing. The other thing is this real quick. I know and I recognize, and this is the argument against it, that the real money we have to worry about is Medicare, Social Security. I get those are the big numbers. I understand that. But these wasteful products still take us into the billions, right? It still matters. Yep. What you do, and this is what I'd like to see, is as you cut these superfluous programs, put them into something that people visually see. Say, we cut $500 million from this nonsense. We built an old age home for veterans. Here it is, in Maryland, in Virginia, in wherever. And that money went here, something useful, something domestic.
Yeah. Well, let's do a little more examples of this squander of what your money, guys, the government's money, that is your money. So let's show you a few more things of outrageousness that our tax dollars are being spent on. $100,000 to see if a sunfish is more aggressive when given gin or tequila.
Oh my gosh.
$1 million to see if selfies make you happy. $1.5 million to study the mating calls of country frogs.
Okay, yes, so there you see how much of American taxpayer dollars are actually going to frivolous causes all over the world. And I wanted to dive in a little bit in this article that posted in the New York Post. So let me just read a little bit here. Bear with me. Okay, here we are. So here's where Elon Musk can start cutting federal spending from transgender monkeys to DEI and checks to dead people. Yeah, you heard that right. Transgender monkeys. That's what we're doing with taxpayer dollars, spending it on transgender monkeys. Okay, so Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are tasked with cutting down the over $6 trillion that the federal government spent in 2024 under their new Department of Government Efficiency. The group will work outside the government to dismantle bureaucracy, slash excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies, according to a statement from President-elect Donald Trump. John Hart, CEO of Watchdog, Open the Books, which monitors fiscal waste, told the Post they will curb spending that has been on autopilot, where there's no real thought or purpose behind it. Finding areas to cut isn't hard. Many jaw-dropping examples are revealed in the government's own reports. Here are some of the first gravy trains expected to be derailed. Okay, let's see here. Dead people cashing in. So in 2023, the federal government shipped $1.3 billion in checks to dead people from the IRS, Medicare, and associated veterans groups, according to Real Clear investigators. 1.3 billion. Okay. According to Hart, it could easily be stopped. The Treasury Department has a do not pay list. These people should all be on it, but there is no cross-checking between the agencies paying out and the Treasury. Lord have mercy. Behind bars benefits. Prisoners thought to still be free and out of work received $171 million in unemployment payments or Social Security in 2023. Medicaid and Medicare also sent out $101 billion in improper payments, largely due to fraud and tax cheats. Took the IRS for at least $546 million. Oh my goodness. Russian cat research. In 2021, the National Institute of Health, NIH, awarded $540,000 to a Russian lab performing experiments on cats, including removing part of their brains and seeing if they could still walk on treadmills. Wow. Wow. I mean, if that's not animal cruelty as well as unnecessary, like, I mean, why? Why do you need to know if a cat can walk on a treadmill with half its brain? I don't know. Okay. Biden's Irish boondoggle. According to American taxpayers shelled out $4 million last year for Joe and Hunter Biden to go on a trip to Ireland, as the Post reported. That included $1.2 million on an elaborate sound system and light show for a Biden speech, and $760,000 to rent out an entire hotel in Dublin. This is on taxpayer dollars. Wow. $50 million monkey business. Spending by the NIH includes $33 million to a firm that runs Monkey Island, a colony of around 3,000 primates sent to research labs. Additionally, the NIH grants totaling $3.7 million funded a study on monkeys and gambling. Part of another $12 million went to the University of Mississippi to test monkeys on methamphetamine. And a Florida lab received $477,000 to help fund research into transgender monkeys, males injected with female hormones. I mean, I understand that a lot of these tests require animal testing before they go into humans, but this whole transgender thing is just something to me that we just do not need to be playing with. And I'm assuming that they are injecting these male monkeys with female hormones so that they can advance, you know, the agenda with regards to puberty blockers and things of that nature. But this just sounds crazy. It just sounds like Frankenstein stuff. Still paying for the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic is over, but spending hasn't stopped, with the Federal Emergency Management Agency expecting to spend another $70 billion on the pandemic by August of 2026. Are you serious? The pandemic has been over, and they're still spending money and plan on spending money, $70 billion. Up until August of 2026. Meanwhile, Dr. Fauci has been receiving $15 million worth of security this year, despite being retired. He basically has a limo driver and armed guards, Senator Rand Paul told the Post. Presidents get that for a while, but they're the only people in our country who get that. And Dr. Fauci is receiving this now that he's like gone underground. Drag shows in Ecuador. I'm sure everybody's heard about this. The State Department awarded a $20,600 grant in 2022 to a center in Ecuador, according to a tracker at USA spending.gov. That grant was used for 12 drag theater performances and a 2-minute documentary. Empty federal buildings. Federal agencies are using an average 12% of the space in their headquarters, according to a March report from the Public Buildings Reform. DEI rags on handouts to China. I mean, Army, the EP. I mean, the list just goes on and on. I mean, it doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. And again, you can see based on how Kamala Harris spent $1 billion in 3 months that this is part of the course. Like the government just spends. There's no oversight. There's no guardrails. There's no efficiency. It's just whatever. It's mind-boggling to know that American dollars are being spent in this way. And I'm just so grateful that we have a presidency who is actually going to come in and uncover this. I know, just based on past experience, when Trump was in office the last time, when they originally did that COVID rollout or the COVID stimulus package, that he was like, listen, I need to let the American people know that a lot of this money that is in this COVID packet is not even going to the Americans. And he listed shrimps on treadmills and all kind of crazy stuff. And that's when I knew Trump was a real one, because I was like, this man is on television telling the people the truth, and this is crazy. And that's why Congress ended up agreeing to $1,200 when he wanted to give more. And he was like, this bill has a bunch of nonsense in it. And the truth of the matter is that's the same thing with that border bill that the Democrats said the entire time they were on the campaign. Well, Trump didn't sign the bill. Trump didn't, he didn't want his friends to sign the bill. But the truth of the matter is it was a bunch of BS in that bill. It was a bunch of money that was going all over the world that had absolutely nothing to do with the border. And it was not going to address the needs of immigration. And so that's why he urged Republicans not to sign it. And, all of this is coming out, and it's just egregious. It's like something has to stop. We know that big pharma, we know that these billionaire lobbyists are controlling government, and it's only to embolden themselves, only to make themselves richer, and it's unjustifiable. It's obscene. There's no reason that all of this money, not only should we be funding all of these wars, but that all of this money should just be going to research all over the world for stuff that just has nothing to do with anything with regards to America and Americans. And I mean, especially when you have people who've dedicated their lives, military veterans who don't even have shelter, who don't even have a home. You have mothers and children, women and children who don't have food and shelter. Like, American citizens deserve to be first. Like, we have to take care of home first. And I don't even understand why that's such an obscene or abstract concept. The only thing I can understand is that most politicians just don't give a damn about Americans, as long as they're taken care of and their family and their children are straight, that they just don't give a damn about citizens. We're just we're the workhorses, we're the slaves. And so as long as we just keep doing what we need to do to just keep funding government and funding what it is they want to line their pockets, they really don't care. And so I'm just grateful that we are seeing someone, not even just someone, because it's not just Trump, it's Elon Musk and a bunch of other politicians who used to be with the Democratic Party and now have walked away, who want to do right by the people, who want to clean the swamp, who want to drain the swamp, who want to do right by taxpayer dollars and really get America stabilized again. And it's a great feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. And I'm so glad to see that, there's going to be some serious change. There's going to be some serious change with regards to this next Trump presidency. And I can't wait for all the residuals. I can't wait for all the positivity. I see a lot of people online who are all about doom and gloom and are like, oh, we're going to be in concentration camps and all this craziness. I'm not even going to entertain none of that ignorance. So I just want to focus forward and focus on progress, and I recommend everyone at home do the same. This is your golden opportunity. We have 4 years that Trump is going to be in office. That means get on your grind, get everything in order, build the business, do the YouTube channel, move from this city to that city, do whatever you want right now to get your life stabilized. This is going to be a great opportunity to really capitalize on the changes that have been made or that will be made in this administration so that we can set our families up towards success. And so again, thank you so much for joining me and sitting with me while we go over these videos. It's definitely a pleasure and an enjoy of mine. So if you have not already, please do subscribe. And again, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Drea Banu, and this is The Community Ledger.